We want children to become increasingly independent as mathematicians over time. So we get away from saying things like, well, the children always need me, they need guidance. And for a routine for mathematical exploration we want to have is to build children's capacity as the creators of their understanding, of their learning to generate their own example. Let me show you an example of a structure that enables that. I put together a document called The Reasoning Routines, the Children as Creators. And the idea is, let's say you ask children a closed question like, what's 2/5 plus 3/10? And some of the children may recognize that what we need to do is convert 2/5 into 4/10. Then I can do 4/10 plus 3/10 equals 7/10. So one of the ways where children can then become the creators, if you say to them, write an easier question than the one I gave you and write a harder one. And then they demonstrate their own understanding. And they do so from this backdrop of creativity, making an easy one and a harder one using that structure. Now, another tool that can be really helpful is if you ever have a question with multiple possible answers. So let's say, design a rectangle with a perimeter of 24 centimeters. Children can access that by answering it. And then maybe they can come up with a second answer. But could they also then, if they've done that, see if they can find an interesting example or what might be phrased as a unique example, and even a non-example, considering what are the likely errors that could be made. Answering that question, there's an example of a non-example. Loads of questions where if you have more than one possible answer, that children can explore in that way and become the creators. One final structure that I love is rank by difficulty. So children answer the questions, then compare them by difficulty. Some of the questions maybe lend themselves to a formal method, some to mental methods. We can toy around with that, the different ways that we rank them. Again, maybe children could come up with their own examples of questions that use similar strategies or than one question or another. Or again, they could rank their questions by difficulty. So we could look at maybe a mental strategy for 99 multiplied by 4 or 250 multiplied by 6. We might automatically think 250 multiplied by 6 is the hardest one because the answer is the biggest. Or let's say we're comparing 38 multiplied by 8 and 205 multiplied by 6. And we might initially think it's harder to multiply a 3-digit number by a single-digit number. In that instance, actually the addition might be more straightforward. So again, great way of children analysing, but then also being given structure to create their own examples. So just a little taster of children becoming the creators and a structure that means they're not always as reliant on that adult support.